Hello, I'm Min Kobayashi, and today I'm going to be doing an update of the series I have finished. May of last year I did series I've completed and talked about the 10, almost 11 series that I had finished at that time. Since then I've read 10 more series, so I figured I should probably talk about them. I think that often series you finish get kind of forgotten because you're not reading them and you're not as hyped about them, but I really want to talk about them, and I'll probably be doing this kind of every little while. So the first one that I finished after making that video was The Lund Elites. This is a series by Marie Lu that actually made me fall in love with her writing. And this is a story of a world where a blood fever kills all of the adult population that has been affected and most of the children that have been affected. A few survive, and through those people have powers to do miraculous things. And this is a series about a ruthless anti-hero who terrorizes her world and changes it forever. It is a really emotional series. It is really conclusive. It has a lot of high risks and beautiful world building. It is an incredible series, and it talks a lot about the price that we choose to have things. The Wrath and the Dawn. This is a series that I was originally very drawn to because the writing was gorgeous. It is a retelling of 1001 Nights and follows Shazzy as she tries to convince the Emperor not to kill her and yet is spurred on by revenge for her best friend's death at his hands. And I loved it because of its melodious words and metaphors, but I soon fell out of love because of the plot. I found that the characters were very stereotypical. They didn't have a lot of depth, and I just wasn't in love with it. So even though I love the writing, and for people that have different looks for me, then you might love this series. Just not my cup of tea. And we have Binti, which kind of went the opposite direction. I was super hyped for this series. It is by Nnedi Okorafor. It is Black Afrofuturism and follows the story of Binti as the first person from her tribe to go to a school. And I was really excited. I loved the discussions on racism. I just wasn't as invested as I wanted to be. I wanted to be enthralled with the story that was apparently so good, and that wasn't taking place until I read the last novella, and then I fell in love with it. The world building was so much more intricate. Everything seemed to piece together beautifully, and I loved the exploration, and at that point I just wanted more. Then we have The Conqueror Saga. This is a series beginning with And I Darkened, and it's by Kiersten White, again an author that I completely fell in love with. This is a series that looks at Lada, who is a female version of Vlad the Impaler. When she is a child, her brother and her are sent off into the Ottoman Empire in order to be hostages on behalf of their father, pretty much. And this grows up to be a marking point in her life. And it really focuses on the relationship between herself, Radu, her brother, and Mehmed, who becomes the emperor. It's beautiful, it's breathtaking. It takes place over her entire life. It begins with her birth and ends with her death. And the series is gorgeous and wonderful and has so many discussions of different things and morality, and I adore it so much. I have The Giver Quartet. This is a series of companion novels set in the same world that have to look at this world. I can't even explain because the world is different because it takes place in different societies in this world, but the first one is wonderful. I fell in love with it completely, and it is the story of this world that is in black and white, where this boy is given the memories of what love is and what these things are, because all of these things are repressed because they want people to feel equal. The cuteness of words is talked about a lot, and it's an incredible novel. Then we have Rise of the Empress. The first novel tells the story of the evil queen, and this story is also inspired by Eastern Asian world building, and that is also super incredible to see. And this is the evil queen, and it's so lyrical and beautiful and devious and dark, and I adore it. I love the politics in it. I love everything about it. The second book is following around Jade, who is her stepdaughter, and she is the Snow White of this story. I was not as huge of a fan of this one. The world building and writing was still really good. It just didn't have the same dark glamour of it, which I guess I should have expected considering the fact that it's Snow White and not the evil queen. However, I still thought it was a decent book. It just wasn't necessarily the book that I wanted, and I was hoping that we were going to go into more a deep, dark way of it. Then we have The Warcross duology by Marie Lu, and this is a series that was one that I loved at first. I thought that Warcross was incredibly done. I had like not picked it up forever because I was like, artificial reality, not really my thing, but it was beautiful. It's about Emika Chen, who is an 18-year-old girl who glitches herself into the beginning of this huge international thing that is Warcross, artificial reality. And through that, she gets enlisted there to kind of spy on things. There's a lot of discussion of morality and playing God, because it's like an old-fashioned sci-fi novel, as in it questions all these things about technology and about life and about the world, and I really adore that. It does have a little bit too much of a hint of insta-love in there, however, I really enjoyed it. And the second book, I enjoyed it for that reason, that the effects, the discussion, all of this was marvelous. Many of the other elements that had to do with Emika being not so smart in her decisions, despite the fact that we know she's smart, and some of the other things kind of bothered me, which gave me a less than perfect look at the second book. However, I still think that Marie Lu shines wonderfully as a story builder, as well as a person who can discuss these elements so crazily good. And that is why I keep on coming back for her books. Talking about books that discuss dark and deep things, we have the Themis Files, which is a trilogy of books that are adult science fiction, looking at Rose Franklin as well as an ensemble cast of people who she as a child was found in the hand of a metal giant. And as an adult, she experiments with this giant and looking at how it influences the world today in the army, and it's incredible. I can't give away some of the plot points in the later books because that would be spoilery, but the discussion of humanity and sacrifice and love and identity and war and the cost and ethics is so superb, so fabulous, and the series blew me away. Each and every single audiobook I read in one complete thing, and I was blown away by this incredible series, and I want to read everything that he ever publishes. The Raven Cycle, this is a series of books that focuses on Blue as well as the Gansey group, which are the Raven Boys, and we have Gansey, Ronan, Noah, and Adam. The characters are so deep and wonderful. The kind of promotional thing for it doesn't work very great for me, but it's the fact that Blue sees a man, Gansey, and knows that when she sees him, she's either going to kill him or be his true love. But what I love it is the whimsical writing, the timelessness of this story, the paranormal and wackiness that happens, and so much discussion of ethics and story. And throughout the last book, something that is told over and over again is, it depends on where you start, it's the story of. And this story captures that. How every story doesn't have a main character, every story doesn't have a beginning and an ending, and I love that. I adore this series so much. I had read the first book in November of 2017, and then I read the last 3 books all in a course of a month, and they were incredible, and I can't wait for the next series by her that focuses on the Lynch Boys. And last, and probably least on this list, according to me, is the Strange the Dreamer duology. This is a series by Laini Taylor that looks at Laszlo, who is a dreamer and a librarian, and the city of Weep, which is a city that has been forgotten, but they go on a journey to find, and they find it, and there's blue people, and lots of kissing, and powers, and I'm super disappointed by it. I just finished it. Anyways, that is my series that I have read so far, and tell me which series that you have completed lately, and which of these series have you completed, which ones are you probably lacking on, because you know we suck at finishing series. Anyways, happy reading and writing, and I will see you in my next video.